You're tuned in to Ask the Good Doctor, live each and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, and 10 a.m. Pacific. Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire is here to answer your questions live.
Hi there, it's Wellness Wednesday, and I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire. Welcome to Ask the Good Doctor. I am here to help you attain, maintain, and reclaim your perfect health. So please join me on Twitter at Ask the Good Doc and Instagram and Facebook at Ask the Good Doctor. Click down below, like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, share. You are not going to want to miss one moment of today's program. I promise you. We also want you to grab your Good Doctor notebook so you can take copious notes. Yes, we've had this lady before. She is one of our good doctors in our family. She is a part of our village. She is a dentist, a holistic dentist, actually. Well, that's not exactly the right term. It's a bio, and I'll let her tell us all about that. But she is the author of this book, Chew on This, But Don't Swallow, a must-read before your next dental appointment. I'd like to welcome to the show Dr. Blanche Grube. Dr. Blanche, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you in this chilly afternoon in Northeast Pennsylvania?
Listen, loving it because it's my favorite time of year. I just love it, nice and crispy and crunchy. It smells so good, so fresh, so good for the lungs. That's another show, y'all.
That's right.
That's right. Dr. Blanche, I have to tell you all that the last time we were together, we decided that we were going to get together since we're in each other's backyards. And we did. She made me the most amazing traditional Spanish dish. What do you call it, Dr. Blanche?
Pollo guisado.
Pollo guisado.
Kind of a chicken stew. Right.
Yes, from her native land. Oh my gosh. And it was spectacular. We had a wonderful afternoon together. Today, though, she is going to share something that I think is really important. Dr. Blanche, around here and generally in many cities, there are huge posters and advertisements right before summer that announce, schedule your children's extraction for their wisdom teeth. And it makes me shiver. And every time my daughter goes into the dentist, she comes out with the little referral to go and have her wisdom teeth extracted. And I'd just like for you to share with us some wisdom teeth wisdom today.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, everybody hang on to your hats because I'm going to make a subject that can be very complicated, very scientific. I'm going to try to make it so that everybody understands it. And that is all about wisdom teeth. It is not wise, and I'll say it again, it is not wise to take out everybody's wisdom teeth. And yet at the same time, some people have impacted wisdom teeth that have remained in their jawbone for years and years and years. And those people should get those wisdom teeth taken out. So I know already you're thinking, gee, this is a little confusing. Not everybody should get their wisdom teeth taken out, but there's some people that must get their wisdom teeth taken out right away. So how do you know the difference? Well, you need to understand a little bit about a subject called embryology.
Mm.
That's how we go from being a sperm and an egg and develop into a whole human being. And God
Yes.
didn't make any mistakes.
No.
God planned every cell division. He planned everything. He had a purpose for everything. But we've kind of messed it up over the years
Yeah.
by not having a good diet, not eating the right foods, polluting part of our world so that, some of us live in really toxic environments.
Yes.
And so we've kind of messed it up. And as a result, we've put ourselves in a situation where we've allowed the doctors to make all of the decisions about our health.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
true.
sometimes the decisions that they make do not fit everyone.
It's rare.
Which is why the title of my book is Chew on This, meaning think about it, but don't swallow. Don't accept everything the doctor tells you without thinking about it first. Okay? So let's get back to that sperm and egg. The sperm and egg meet together. They begin to form the first human being in the mother's belly.
Mm-hmm.
And one cell divides and becomes two cells. Those two cells divide again, become 4 cells, 4 to 8, 8 to 16. And before you know it, you have a whole ball of cells. And the ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it starts to do something called differentiation. In other words, some of these cells are getting signals that tell them exactly what they are going to be. So the cells on the outside of this ball are called ectodermal cells. They belong to the skin. They're going to be skin. They're going to be nails. They're going to be hair. They're going to be things on the outside of the body. The cells on the inside are going to be mesodermal cells. So these cells are going to form the internal organs. And so it's very important to understand that sometimes we have a little difficulty wrapping our heads around the fact that, yes, this is outside, this is skin. We have difficulty wrapping our head around the fact that our mouth to our anus, down the esophagus, through the stomach, small intestines, large intestines, out the other end, is outside the body.
Aha.
What?
I said aha.
What? How can it be outside the body? Well, let's pretend that this glove is a balloon. So here we go. It's a full balloon. Don't pay any attention to the 5 fingers. Actually, we use this for Thanksgiving. We paint them. Turkey. Okay? Well, let's say that this is that ectodermal ball that I was telling you about. At one point, the cells begin to do something called induration. It begins to fold inside the balloon and comes all the way out to the other end. So now you notice my finger is inside the balloon. Is it really? Think about that. Is my finger inside the balloon? If it was, it would feel the air that I just blew into this balloon.
Yes.
My finger is not inside the balloon.
That's right.
My finger is on the outside or ectodermal. And it's the same way when that egg starts to deform into a human being. This first induration becomes the mouth, and it goes all the way to the other end. And over here, that induration comes out, and it's the anus.
Yes.
It is all ectodermal tissue. It is outside the body. Okay, so what's the big deal? Well,
explanation.
It is a big deal because almost everything in our body is either ectodermal or mesodermal, endodermal. There's actually 3 categories. But teeth are different. Teeth are different because they're made of ectodermal and mesodermal. Wait a minute, how could that be? Well, God created it so that the tooth part, the part we chew on, the crown of the tooth, is ectodermal.
Yeah.
It is in the mouth or outside the body. But the tooth is not just sitting on top of your gums. The tooth has a root.
Yes.
And the root is inside the bone marrow. Oh, wait a minute. That's no longer ectodermal tissue. That's mesodermal tissue. So the teeth are the only part of the human body that are both ectodermal and mesodermal at the same time. Very,
Mm,
very interesting. You've got
true.
part is supposed to be inside the body, part's supposed to be outside the body. So, okay, so what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that an impacted wisdom tooth grows, forms a crown, and it's supposed to do everything that all the other teeth do, erupt into the mouth, and the ectodermal part of the tooth, the crown, is in the mouth.
Mm,
Ectodermal tissue. The root stays inside the bone marrow.
that's right.
Okay, so that's the way all of our teeth, they start inside and the ectodermal part comes out, and it's now ectodermal tissue where it belongs, in the mouth. The root belongs inside the bone marrow, mesodermal. Well, when you have an impacted tooth that never came out into the mouth, we have a problem, because that is ectodermal tissue in the mesodermal space. You'll hear
Ah,
me repeat it over and over again. It's ectodermal tissue in the mesodermal space. It does not belong there. Anytime the body sees ectodermal tissue in a mesodermal space, boy, it does everything it can possibly do
yes.
to get it out. And anybody who's ever had an impacted fingernail, a toenail, an ingrown toenail, that is, the toenail is ectodermal and
Yeah.
it's trying to grow itself into your toe. Oh, Lord, does that hurt?
Yes, it does.
And you get swelling, you get redness, you get pus, you get everything. Your body's trying desperately to push that nail out of there. If you've ever had an ingrown hair, the
Mm-hmm.
hair is ectodermal. It's
Yes.
supposed to be outside the body, but sometimes they get kind of curled up and they
Yes.
wind up inside the skin. If you have an internal curled up hair, it hurts like the dickens,
It does.
and it swells up until finally you get enough nerve to either squeeze it or pinch it with a
Yes,
sharp
tweezers.
needle, yeah, tweezers or something, and pop, out comes the pus and the redness, and here comes this curly hair
Yes.
that was stuck inside the mesodermal space. But the body did all it could do to push it out to the surface, caused a lot of pain and discomfort so that you would get rid of it. So what happens with a tooth? When we have an impacted tooth, it doesn't come out usually because the nutrition hasn't been good. It
There
hasn't
it
been
is.
good for that person. The nutrition hasn't been good for the parent either, both parents usually. And so you just don't have enough jaw space. You don't have enough room back there. Did God make a mistake? Absolutely not. He intended us to be eating so many fruits and vegetables that by the time we were 22 years old, our teeth would have been ground down.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes the wisdom tooth, has enough room to erupt, and it maintains the shape of the jaw and everything. Life is good again. That was God's plan, for that wisdom tooth to come out when you're wise at 21, 22, 20. I don't know too many 21-year-olds that are really wise, but that was the plan. That by 21, you were wise. Here came your wisdom tooth.
Okay.
You still had the jaw, and you could continue eating fruits and vegetables. But if you grew up with refined flour, refined processed foods, you grew up with sugar, those cusps never get chewed on.
Ah,
They never get chewed on. They don't grind down. The shape of the top of the tooth is hourglass. It's like an hourglass. So as you grind down the tooth, the hourglass is narrow here. Now all the teeth drift forward. There's enough room now for the wisdom tooth to come up. But if you don't chew your food, and if you eat Twinkies, no, you're never
steady
going to.
diet of Twinkies.
Yeah, your diet of Twinkies is just not going to do it. You're
gonna-
not going to have enough room for your wisdom teeth. And so then it has become the mantra of dentistry to take everybody's wisdom teeth out, which is not a good idea
Okay.
on several levels. I don't know how much time we have here to discuss that. But so number one, you need to know whether or not you have enough room. And I tell my patients, take your finger, your middle finger or your thumb, and put it back there. If you have enough room for your finger to rest on the jawbone behind your second molar, you probably have enough room for your wisdom tooth.
Okay.
And therefore, you should not take it out because the wisdom tooth is energetically connected to your heart.
Yes, it is.
Isn't that interesting?
Yep.
We have so many people who have had their wisdom teeth extracted automatically, the age of anywhere from 18 to 23, had their wisdom teeth extracted, and now they're 40 and 50, and they're having heart problems.
They are.
Because the wisdom teeth were extracted, they were extracted with a drug called epinephrine. It's a drug that's put into the Novocaine, and it causes vasoconstriction. That means a shrinking of the blood vessels. The smallest of the blood vessels, which are the capillaries, bingo, they close altogether. Now those poor cells are not getting any oxygen. So the good intentioned dentist now takes out 4 wisdom teeth, shoves some cotton in there, sends you home. You look like a chipmunk for the weekend. You're swollen. You're in pain. They usually put you on antibiotics. They put you on all kinds of narcotic drugs. And now you've got a bunch of dead cells that have not gotten any oxygen for several hours. And they're supposed to form new bone. It doesn't happen.
Woof.
And so you have a good percentage of the population. I would venture to say it's at least 90% of people who have had 4 wisdom teeth walking around with 4 wisdom teeth taken out maybe 30, 40 years ago. And guess what? Those 4 wisdom teeth sites still have not healed.
True.
They have holes in their jawbone that have not healed. And 40 years later, there's enough bacteria in there to cause all kinds of problems. And in biological dentistry, we call those cavitations.
That's right.
If it's bothering you, if you're having symptoms and you can't figure out where the symptoms are coming from, take a look. Have somebody take x-rays.
That's right.
And see if the space behind your second molar has it filled in with bone. It's easy. I mean, this is not rocket science. If you take a look at an x-ray and it's white behind the second molar, guess what? It's filled with bone. But if you look behind the second molar and you see something that looks like Lake Michigan, and it's dark, and it looks, it's pretty big. It's a round circle. That's usually a cavitation. They never filled in with bone. So I really think that all the cavitations that people are walking around with is something that has contributed to a lot of the heart problems people have today. Of course, I'm not disregarding the fact that their diet is horrible.
That's right.
That's also part of it. It's a bad diet, bad attitude, and cavitations.
Wow. Say that one more time, please.
Okay, it's bad diet, bad attitude, and cavitations.
Look at that. Interesting that you say you could put your finger behind there to determine whether or not you have enough space. I fortunately still have my lower wisdom teeth. And
what do you mean, unfortunately?
No, I said fortunately.
Oh, yes. Okay, good. Yeah.
Yes. The 2 at the top, they did have trouble and they had to go. So I'm very disappointed with that. But fortunately for me, they did heal. And I don't have, because we've got the good diet, good attitude.
Right.
And
well, fortunately, those of us who do not come from, I don't know if there's anybody who's truly purely white in this world. If you really know your history, you'll know that nobody is really white, no such thing. But for those of us who have more darkness to our skin and come more directly from Africa and South America, we have much wider jaws.
Yeah.
We have room for our wisdom teeth.
Yes.
So when somebody of color calls me up and says, my doctor says I should get my wisdom teeth taken out, and probably not. You probably have enough room for another 4 wisdom teeth.
Wow. What do you say? What do you say to the people who've had their braces and their doctors are pushing them in the direction of removing the wisdom teeth primarily because that it's going to shift the other teeth? What say you?
I say not true.
Agreed.
Not true. Show me the evidence, because as we get older, our lower jaw continues to grow. I always say God has a sense of humor. He makes our ears continue to grow into old age. I mean, people who are old don't just look ugly. They really are ugly. Our ears grow large. Our nose continues to grow.
Yeah.
And our lower jaw continues to grow. So whether you take your wisdom teeth out or not, you are not going to stop that lower jaw from growing as you get older. It's part of life. And
Yes.
as your lower jaw grows, your front teeth will start to get crowded if you didn't have enough room for them to begin with. If your
True.
lower teeth were right up, butt up against your upper teeth, and now they want to move forward even more, you're going to have crowding, whether
Yeah.
you have your wisdom teeth or not.
It's true. My teeth started doing the electric slide when I got older. That's what I say about it.
It's your jaw that, yeah, your jaw got longer. That's just,
Yes. And so
that's just where
I
we are.
went to the clear, I went to Spark, the
Okay.
clear BPA free braces system where you do the trays
Right.
in and out.
Right. Right.
What is your thought on braces? Is there wisdom in that? Are we supposed to just let them do what they want to do?
I think every case is individualized. There are some people who really do need to have braces. Their jaw is that messed up because their diet has been that messed up.
Mm.
But you have to know that anything you do to your body is going to cost a price. You must pay the piper. Absolutely. So if you're going to have braces, you have to be very careful. You have to know that if you move the teeth too fast, you will hurt the teeth. If you move them too slow and keep them on too long, you will hurt the teeth.
That's true.
Once you're done with braces, you're not really done. You have to wear a retainer. Even
Isn't
you,
that something?
yeah, you have to wear the retainer the rest of your life because those teeth are always going to want to go back to their own position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. Even if you only wear your retainer, say one night a week.
Yes.
But I tell people, if you put that retainer in that one night and it's really tight,
Yeah.
you better wear it 2 nights,
Ah.
maybe 3, until you can put the retainer in and it's not tight. Okay, then you're back to 1 night a week.
Okay.
Wear your retainer. Keep everybody where you would like them to be, not where they want to be, because they want to be someplace else.
Yes.
They want to be where there's no stress whatsoever.
Dr. Blanche, I don't think there is a traditional dentist and traditional dentistry that are teaching these truths specifically about the wisdom teeth and what we need to be mindful about and why it's necessary to keep them and the correlation between the heart and digestion too. Yes.
Yes. I mean, I was never shown a meridian chart when I was in dental school.
We're going to get into that. We're going to have you back for another show.
That was never shown to me. Are you kidding? No. So I was never shown a meridian chart. I was never shown that there was a consequence to doing anything to a tooth. I mean, from a very simple thing like a drill on a tooth at 80,000 RPMs, revolutions per minute, spins that tooth in the direction of the drill. And when the dentist is done, that tooth is under tremendous amount of stress.
Yes.
And really needs to be unwound in the other direction.
Wow.
Not too many dentists do that. They don't even know to do that. Okay, when you drill on a tooth high speed, you're stressing that tooth out.
And you, stressing you out too.
Yeah, stressing you out too. So, and I was never taught that every tooth energetically is connected to an organ. So, for instance, your first molars are connected to your large intestines. Right. So, if you have a dead first molar, suppose you have a big cavity, you never took care of it, the tooth is abscessed, but it doesn't hurt you much, so you're going to let it go. And one of these days, you're going to get around to having that tooth taken out. Well, that's a dead tooth.
Yes, it's a dead tooth.
So your large intestines is sending up energy to that molar. And the molar is supposed to send back the same amount of energy to the large intestine. And if the tooth is dead, it doesn't send any energy to the large intestine. So poor large intestines keep sending energy, never gets any back. And then before you know it, you've got colon cancer and you can't figure out why.
Yes, check the teeth. And so, Dr. Blanche, the 4 wisdom teeth, the 4 wisdom teeth are connected to, you said, the heart, the digestion, and all 4.
Right.
Okay.
All 4.
All 4.
Yeah, your first molar is your large intestines. Your second molar is your small intestines. Show me a man with prostate cancer, and I'll show you a man who got hit in the mouth probably when he was a teenager, and one of his 8 front teeth is dead. Because the 4
Wow.
front teeth go to your sexual organs. Show me a woman with breast cancer, and I'll show you a woman who has a root canal, a dead tooth, or a cavitation in the bicuspid meridian. They're all connected. And I started studying with Dr. Hal Huggins over 30 years ago. 30 years ago, he instructed a class of 60 dentists. He said, if any of you ever find a woman with intraductal carcinoma who does not have a root canal, cavitation, missing a tooth in the bicuspid meridian, I will give you $1,000. And I took that bet on. I was like, oh boy, this is wonderful.
$1,000.
Guess what? I never collected on that. Never. I had one woman who did come to my office. She had breast cancer now for the second time. Breasts were removed first time. Guess what? She got breast cancer again. And so she came to my office to see if there was anything related in her mouth. And so I immediately, Lord forgive me, my cocky attitude, I said to her, so which tooth which bicuspid is root canaled? No, I've never had a root canal. No, really?
Wow.
I said, come on, you have breast cancer. You have
Yes.
dead tooths. She goes, no, I have all 32 teeth. Wow. Well, I had that in my mind. I had that $1,000 spent 6 ways till Sunday. Until I decided, I really should do an exam. Okay. So I did the exam. And as I'm doing the exam, I noticed that her canine was much darker than all of the other teeth. I said, did you ever notice how dark your canine is? She said, yes. I said, I think that's interesting. She says, oh, I forgot to tell you. That canine was lying sideways in my bicuspid meridian area up here above my bicuspids. And I had it surgically and orthodontically moved down into the right position. I could not collect. In all fairness, I could not collect the $1,000 because that was a dead tooth in the bicuspid meridian.
Isn't that something? It's an amazing science when you know. And I am just so grateful for you to have written this book, Chew on This, but Don't Swallow. A must-read book before your next dental visit. And you're going to come back and visit us again next week.
Yes.
We've got a wonderful episode for you all. So don't you go away. Dr. Blanche, thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure.
With us. And don't you all go away either. Join us next week for more of Dr. Blanche. I'm sure you took copious notes, and if you didn't, rewind this videotape. Bye-bye, Dr. Blanche. See you next week.
Okay. Bye-bye.
And I will see all of you. That does it for me. I'd like to thank my team, DJ Indy, our announcer, or Chris Brown, that was our announcer today. Christopher Green, technical producer, IW, supervising producer. And remember to let your eyes shine, cut back on the wine, get good food fast, and go easy on the greasy. Until next time, I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, here to help you attain and maintain your perfect health. Let's do it again next week, okay? God bless you.
Okay.